Good morning. I'm thrilled that we can go live on Instagram. And then, all right, then there's also the part of me that's like, the setup for it is like a little bit crazy. So I hope I did it right this time. I do not know, but we will find out. And Instagram, sorry if I'm not live on you. I'll double check. But good morning, everyone. Bear with me while I check on tech setup and just make sure I did things the way I wanted to do them. It's telling me that I can't load my post. Um, all right. So I'm trying to figure out how I can do Instagram. But anyway, so we're gonna get started while I do that. Hello, and good morning. Welcome to day one of Sensual Wealth. This is all based on the 40-day prosperity plan, this book right here. And I'm going to read day one to you all. Let me just see if I can do this. If not, Instagram, I'm sorry, I'll have to load the video later. Um, let's see if it'll let me do it. I don't know. All right, so day one. Oh, a couple of things before we get started. I sent out the initial statement. Good morning, you all. I sent out the initial statement that everyone needs to write out in your book. I mean, in your journal or whatever special book you're using for this. That statement is, I sent it out via email and it is also in the Facebook group. So make sure you write out that statement with your hand. Everything in here has to be written out by hand, and I'll explain why in a minute. But let me get to statement one. God is lavish, unfailing abundance, the rich, omnipresent substance of the universe. This all-providing source of infinite prosperity is individualized as me, the reality of me. Now, as I read these, there are going to be times that I'm going to use the word God, source, the creator. I personally don't care what you call that which gives life to all. That is completely up to you. But the book is going to use God, and so I will interchange. I've worked through some of my feelings about the word God, and I've come to a good place with it. But maybe you haven't, or maybe you just have another word. Okay, so feel free to plug and play as works best for your body and your mind to understand. I'm going to read it again. God is lavish, unfailing abundance, the rich, omnipresent substance of the universe. This all providing source of infinite prosperity is individualized as me, the reality of me. Now, if you have the book, you're going to go ahead and you're going to write this statement down in your book. If you don't have the book, couldn't get it, that's fine. Listen to the replay, write it down. Everything must be written down. And here's why. The act of writing in and of itself, is that even a real phrase? I should ask a friend of mine who has pet peeves on phrases if in and of itself is a proper phrase to use. But the act of writing connects what you are reading, what you are hearing, what all it connects your senses, it connects it to your body so that the message gets embedded in you in different ways. This is an embodiment practice. If you know who I am, you know I'm about embodiment. And if you don't know, you're going to find out over the course of the next 40 days. Writing, scribing is a way to connect what you are learning to your body. It is a way for you to not just have it in your head as something, and you don't need to memorize these statements. The point isn't to memorize these. The point is for the statements to affect you on a deeper level, on a spiritual level, dare I say, on a cellular level, to begin to shift your vibrational frequency when it comes to wealth, when it comes to abundance. Why? Because this all providing source of infinite prosperity, whatever you're calling this source, is individualized as you. So what does that mean? That means that based on John Randolph Price's beliefs and mine too, otherwise I wouldn't be using this book. That means that if you look at source energy People like to use the analogy of the ocean. If you look at source energy as an ocean, you are a piece of that ocean. You are a cup of water of that ocean. You are always connected to and have the same substance of the ocean within you, but you are in your own container. Does that make sense? So, if you're one of those people who believes that God is something separate from you, out someplace else, and you are a human and there is no connection, this is probably not the place for you to be. I'm just going to be honest with you. But if you're someone who either believes and or can expand your mind and your understanding to think, okay, this is God, and I am a piece of that, and my friend is a piece of that, and my mother, my father, these are all pieces of that, then you're in the right place. So given that you are a piece of this all giving life force energy, this rich, omnipresent substance of the universe, how could you not also be in abundance? Because then there is no difference between you and the tree that always gets what it needs. The birds always, like birds don't sit around going, I don't know if I'm going to get worms today. Man, are there even enough worms? I just don't know. The tree doesn't go, I had 50 leaves last year. Maybe I can get to 200 leaves this year. They, and somebody's gonna say, well, it's because they're nature. Yes, on the mental level, but we're talking spiritual here. This is a spiritual journey. And the point of it is that abundance is always around. It is indeed our human mind that limits it. That's the limitation. It's interesting. And then I'll give you all the assignment for today. I was on the train yesterday, came back from a basketball game with my son. I'm gonna read all of your comments in a minute. And unfortunately in New York City, we still have a lot of heroin addicts. And as this man was on the train and he's standing there, I'm looking at, if you've ever seen a heroin addict, their center of gravity defies explanation. I don't know what it is in whatever is in the heroin or how their bodies respond to it that allows them to literally bend over in a way that if you or I tried to do it in our sober mind, we would fall. We would fall. The way they can lean and still manage to not collapse on the ground, as someone who does embodiment work, I look at that like, that's interesting. And so last night the thought came to me, and see, this is you can find lessons everywhere. The thought came to me that what if we could do that, but our mind gets in the way because the fear of falling tells us we can't do it. For them, there is no fear in that moment. They're in another space and time. Whether you agree with it or not, they are just there in another space and time. And because they are, their body is allowed to do, it's unhindered from doing certain movements. But if we thought about it, the fear would stop us. So really, it's your mind that gets in the way. When I saw that man last night, I was like, our bodies are really capable of some interesting things if we just let our mind get out of the way. Like I could probably stand that way if I let my mind, if I stop thinking about it. But I'm probably not going to. But I will do my best here during this next 40 days to not let my mind get in the way. It is the mind that says, this is all I see. Where spirit, God, the rich omnipresent substance of the universe says there's nothing I cannot see. All of it is available. How it is available, when it is available, that is part of your individual life path. That is part of whatever purpose you have opted into, chosen, and your purpose can change. Like, you don't have to pick a purpose at 30 and then have that same purpose at 35. Just want to put that out there. So it's the mind that stops us. And for the first 10 days, we're going to focus on the mental. We're going to focus on the mental piece because that's a difficult part. And so your assignment is in your journal, what is your money story? Some of you have done this before, but I guarantee you, no matter how many times you do it, you always find something new. I cannot tell you how many times I've done my money story, and each time I've done it with somebody and some course and some something. I'm like, oh snap. I, I didn't realize that. Like I said in my video in the Facebook group, I just realized, and I'll share it maybe later, but I just realized a piece of worthiness that I had around making money. There's it came to me and I was like, oh shit. I curse, yeah. Wow. I didn't know that. So even if you've done it before, you're gonna do it again. What is your money story? What are your beliefs around money? That's what you're gonna work on today. Okay, what are your beliefs around money? And you're not gonna judge it, you're just gonna write them out. You're not gonna look at them and be like, oh man, you're just gonna write them out. That's it. So for the first 10 days, we're going to focus on the mental, how we think about money, how we think about abundance, because so many of us are so well educated. We want to know things. We're logical. We want to think about it all. So let's get that out of the way now so we can start to open you up to some other things. I'm going to read statement one more time. God is lavish, unfailing abundance, the rich, omnipresent substance of the universe. This all providing source of infinite prosperity is individualized as me, the reality of me. All right. Glad to see you are all in the right place. That is it for today. I'm going to try to keep these short and sweet because we all got things to do, including me. But I will be on here tomorrow around 9ish. If I didn't hit Instagram, I'm going to do my best to get on here and tweak that a little bit so that I make sure that I honor what I said about going live across all of my platforms. Replays will be up, so don't worry if you missed it. The best way to get the replays, the easiest way is probably to subscribe to my YouTube channel. That way you don't have to scroll through anything. It'll be on YouTube. Boom. I'm going to do my best to put up a little pretty thumbnail so you'll know what day it was. I'll probably put them all in a playlist so it'll be easy for you to get to. So YouTube is going to be the best way for you to watch these replays. And if I do take them down anywhere else, they will remain up on YouTube. In fact, I've done this before on YouTube. I think those videos are still up. So you can go back and see the other ones that I've done. And I like to do that sometimes just to see how I've shifted and grown in doing this process. Okay. You all are so very welcome. Thank you all for being here. And I will see you tomorrow for statement 2. Remember, write it out. Can't miss a day. All right. Bye, everyone.